Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
John Ahlbum has been in my life for so many years because I have my United American insurance with him, but he has been working with us and a lot of people I've recommended because he's one of the sweetest, nicest guys. And at first, I think he was the only one doing this. Then he got his wife involved, and then he got his son involved. So you're a real family affair, aren't you, John?
Absolutely. Thank you.
And where are you calling in for now?
I'm actually in my office.
You're here
We ended up dog sitting. We have 2 dogs of our own, and we ended up with 2 of our daughter's dogs, and two of them don't get along. So I brought one up to the office with me this morning so that there wouldn't be a lot of barking and stuff.
Oh
in the
my
background.
goodness, that's funny. So you now are, because I know you spent the summer up in Martha's Vineyard. Where were you?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so you have a nice life, and I'm glad that you do that. You work very hard. And how long have you actually been practicing? I mean, having insurance? I call it practicing.
I got my insurance license in 1992.
No kidding, 1992. So, well, that's a good many years. And have things changed since you first started?
Yeah, I think they change daily in this business, to tell you the truth. I mean, the advent of the computer has changed a lot of it and made things go a lot quicker. There's been a lot of products that were out that aren't out anymore, and new stuff that keeps coming in, and some stays and some disappears. But it seems to be, I would say, it's pretty much the same. It's just like new things to look at all the time.
Well, when you first started, though, were there HMOs? Or they weren't, what were they called? They weren't like they are.
They were called Medicare HMOs.
They were.
Mm-hmm.
And people, I don't think they were as popular, were they, at that time?
Not really. And then they actually stopped, or pretty much stopped selling them, offering them all together. And then I remember the big time at the end of, I think, 1999 and early 2000, the Cleveland Clinic dropped all of their HMOs and went just strictly with traditional Medicare and supplements.
Huh.
And then they came back in, and in the Clinton years, they renamed them Medicare Advantage plans. But
yeah, well, it's funny. I always hear such complaints. I mean, there are a lot of good people. I have a lot of people advertising with Humana and all these other companies, Aetna.
Mm-hmm.
But there is something about United American that I have always told people when they first are getting onto Medicare. I say, well, I think you need to consider a supplement that is very different from what you're hearing. Medicare HMOs, I'm sure are fine for some people and for a lot of people. But if you really don't want a hassle and you can afford it, you really need to do this. And I know I've had so much experience. I haven't been sick myself, but my wonderful husband's had knee operations, two new knees, 3 or 4 hips, and we never paid a single payment because he's had United American, as I have, for many, many years. And the other thing I noticed, John, is when you go into a medical office, and it annoys me, as a matter of fact, they say, well, hello, what's your name, and do you have insurance? It seems so crass, but boy, when you say United American, you get right in.
Yeah, that was really got me started with United American. Was 3 or 4 doctors found out that I was licensed with them and said, we'd like to refer people to you because United American is the best company we've ever worked with.
And what makes it that way?
I think because their emphasis is on Medicare supplement. They're not trying to do Advantage plans, and they're not trying to do health insurance and all kinds of other things. They've always just been a company that specialized in supplemental plans. They did they do a cancer plan that supplement if you had cancer. We used to have a couple of small under 65 plans to supplement somebody's group insurance or health insurance. But now it's like 98% of United American's business is just Medicare supplement, and they've been doing supplements since Medicare started, and voluntarily came up with some of the plans that are before Medicare standardized all the plans. They voluntarily came up with plans that actually were mimicked by Medicare and became real plans, or nationwide plans. And it's the only company I've ever been involved with that has a whole division set up just for agents. So if an agent has a client that has a problem or needs help, we have a number and a group of people who just specialize in helping the agents get things taken care of and keeping the policyholders happy.
Really? That's amazing, because I don't think you'll find that it's hard enough. I mean, I haven't ever had an HMO, but I just hear about it, and that sometimes, it's, in fact, doctors are very frustrated sometimes with HMOs. I'm not negating HMOs. I don't want to say that, because people are lucky that there even is something like this, that when they're sick and they're on Medicare, that they can have that. It's just the difference of having something that you don't have any of the ins and outs, and can I have it and I can't have it, and you have to stay on the phone, and well, how come I can't have that process, and my doctor's on the phone and he can't get it. So, if you can afford to have your own supplement, and let me just say, there are others besides United American. I think AARP offers something. There are others, and you can go and you can investigate them, but I have been in healthcare for a long time. I got my master's degree in gerontology in 1990, and I've been aware of long-term health care, of Medicare supplements, and I've always tried to get the very best I can. And rather than maybe go out 1,000 times a year for restaurants, I'd rather put the money into something that I know will benefit me and my family, and they don't have to worry about me as much. So just remember, and John Ahlbum's been doing this a long time. He's really one of our very, very most favorite people that I work with. He has been advertising because he really wants people to know about it. He will also be at our Boomer Expo. He's there every time we have one. We have another one coming up, as everyone knows, January the 28th. And I hope you'll all be there. But John will be there with his great staff. So let me give you a way that you can get in touch with John Ahlbum right now, and that's really important. And his phone number is 877-970-4760. Is that correct, John?
Exactly.
Okay, 877-970-4760. And the way you spell Ahlbum is AHLBUM. AHLBUM. And it's his agency. He founded it. He's there. His family's there. I mean, he has a wonderful wife who will help you. So I love being with people like this. We have some great advertisers who I personally know. I try very hard to use their products or their services, but I've been using John Ahlbum for a long, long time. And I never have a complaint, ever. I never have anyone call me and say, well, this man did this or that. No, never. And I'm sure you don't have a lot of complaints, John, right? Because you take care of everything on Johnny on the spot.
We try hard. Yes, we do. We try to. Customer service is not our middle name. I think is our first name.
That's right, Johnny on the spot, JON, right? Johnny on the spot.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me ask you, I'm just going to get off of this a little bit, because people nowadays, they want to know about families. Tell me about the family you grew up in.
Where
did you grow up, and your parents, and what was your life like? What made you
Well,
so nice?
I grew up kind of all over. I spent summers with my grandmother and grandfather on Martha's Vineyard. My stepfather was in the Navy, and we traveled. We lived in Virginia. We lived in Connecticut for a while. We spent 2.5 years in London, England.
Huh?
Then I came back here, and when my grandfather died, came back and stayed with my grandmother from then on, and finished high school on Martha's Vineyard. Went to Wentworth Institute in Boston. Went back to the Vineyard for a number of years, and then migrated south.
And how long have you been married? How did you meet your wife?
I actually met her on Match.com. My first wife had passed away with cancer, and
oh my! You're so attractive.
Well, and I've been married 13 years now, so.
But I would think that you didn't have to go on Match.com because you're so attractive and all these single men around, but you just couldn't find the right woman, huh?
There you go.
And you went on Match.
But
and
I was taking care of 4 children at home at the time,
oh,
so it was easier.
Oh my good. Oh, see, let's go back to that. See, I knew there was something special about you. I'd forgotten. You told me this. So how old were your children? Your wife died, and how old were your children?
The oldest was just about to turn 16.
Oh, my.
And the youngest was 1.5 years.
John, and who helped you do this?
Nobody. I did it pretty much by myself.
And you had already started the Ahlbum agency, right?
That was when I started into an insurance because I needed a new career that would allow me to change my day on a drop of a needle or a pin, so to speak. If I woke up in the morning and one of them had a fever and couldn't go to daycare, couldn't go to school, and things like that, and insurance just seemed to be the perfect way. I could change the schedule. I could work from home if I had to, and things like that. And it's turned out to be a very, very great decision.
Well, see, now this is interesting. I'm so glad I asked you this question. So that makes, now I know why you are so special. And so your son is one of the kids that, it's your son, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's in the business. So he really was one of the kids that you took care of under those circumstances. Right. Oh my goodness, you are something. Wow. What a father. And who prepared you to do something like that? Your parents, were they? No, you said your grandmother is someone that you were very close to.
I was, yeah. She lived to be 103.
John, this is a great show. I'm learning more about you. 103. What do you attribute that to?
I guess just really great genes.
Well, besides that, though, did she eat? Did she watch her food? Did she exercise? What was she like?
She was just she was a phenomenal person, and she was liked to help people, but she also was a photographer. I won't say amateur, but she didn't charge for her photography. But she had her own dark room where she developed her own prints and everything. And my real grandfather, and who was her first husband, had been in the Navy, and they traveled a lot. And they were actually in China when my mother got polio, and they came back. Took them like 2 months to get back from China and back across the country to where my mother could get treated for polio.
So your mother had polio. Oh my! This is really some conversation.
Yeah.
Had polio, and did she get help, or was she always affected with the polio?
She got help, and she lived a very good life. She died at 89.
Oh, for heaven's sakes! So you, and what about your father?
My own father, my parents were divorced, and he was actually a writer for the Newspaper Enterprise Association.
Huh.
And he died, and I don't know of what, but in his late 50s.
And so she remarried?
She remarried, yeah, back when I was young. We were trying to think how old I was,
But he helped you in your life, I gather.
Yes, he did. He was, at the time, I didn't realize what a great influence he was, and now I look back and thank him every day.
Sure. But they lived together for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so family's been very important to you. I can see that. I mean, taking care of your wife who had cancer and then taking care of your children and my heavens, wow. And so that's why you have the heart that you do. I see that now. So the insurance business was a perfect kind of a business for you, but boy, do we all luck out having you as our insurance agent. So, all right, everybody. So you know now a lot more about Jon Ahlbum. Most people don't even know unless they were listening to this conversation. So if you're looking, if you're on Medicare and you have an HMO, you can still change to a supplement, a Medicare supplement. If you don't do it today, you can probably call Jon and he'll help you. And sometimes, you think you can't get out of what you're in, but he has all that information. And make sure you come to the expo and talk to him or his family who's ever there. But let me give you their number again, his number. It's really important that you give him a call. Just call him and say hello. I loved your story. Phone number 877-970-4760. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio, so you got to write it down. 877-970-4760. His office is actually located in Margate, but I'm sure if someone can't get to your office, don't you go out to their home?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We do a lot more. We probably do 90% of our business going to the client or to the prospect.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I can see that, and it's comfortable. And so, do you ever get turned down? Why do people decide? Is it because of the money, or why would they decide?
Sometimes it's money, or sometimes they realize that what they have is they feel is sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you talk to somebody and they're not ready to make a move, but a year later or 2 years later they'll call and say, everything that you warned me might happen happened, and I'm ready to do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Sometimes people do take a long time. I'm a very fast shopper because I don't shop a lot. I just go, I buy it. But my mother used to go and spend a day. Then she'd return it. Then she'd come back again. And I have some family members like that. I just can't understand it. I'm not like that. Just tell me what it is. Yes, no, whatever. It's over. But I want you to go over and tell me, and you know what my policy is, that I have with you. So how come I don't have to ever pay for anything? Anything.
Well, you have what I always thought was the greatest policy out there, the Plan F. And the Plan F paid from your Part B deductible, it paid your hospital deductible if you were hospitalized, it paid all the co-payments, it paid any excess charges. If a doctor wanted to charge more than Medicare allowed, it would pay the legally, allowed amount on that. It's just a very fine policy. There is some confusion going to be starting on Wednesday because the F is not going to be offered to anybody who is just becoming eligible for Medicare on January 1st or after. It's a new federal law that's been tossed around for a couple of years, but anybody who is currently eligible for Medicare, whether they're on Medicare or not, can always buy a Plan F. But somebody in Washington had the idea that if the doctor's deductible was paid for by the insurance policy, that people were going to run to the doctor's office on January 1st and go to the doctor more often than they would if the deductible wasn't paid.
Huh.
And I don't know where they got this idea from, because I've been by a lot of doctor's offices early in the year, and I don't see a line around them with people waiting to get in for their...
Right, because they have that insurance.
Right.
So but that isn't going to affect me at all.
No, it won't affect you at all. It won't affect anybody who has Plan F, and it won't affect anybody. For an example, somebody who's still working and on a group plan, but they're already 65, they can then, when they retire or leave the group plan, they can still get a Plan F if they want to. Okay. It's only people who become eligible or turn 65 on January 1st or after. And then we have the Plan G for them, which is identical to the F, except it doesn't pay that Part B deductible at the beginning of the year, which is $197 this year.
I see. So, well, listen, and I think as an insurance celebrity, I call you celebrity because people know you and now and all, you really do have to stay on top of everything because people can't do it. You're the insurance expert. You're the one that has to know what's going on, and you have to call the people and tell them, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. You never call me, I guess, because I don't need any help, right?
Exactly. Plus I talk to you quite often anyway.
Right, I know. The most I do is see you at the expos and get you on the radio show, so that's good. But I don't think, do most people have lots of conversations with their insurance agents? I don't know.
Not. We will hear more if there's probably the most communication we get from somebody would be if they have some kind of a medical problem and they're looking for advice on how to get it handled and will Medicare cover it and those kinds of things, or somebody who's having trouble getting a claim paid or something like that, and we go to bat and help them with that too. So.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I see. So you do anything that's necessary that way. But if they have the insurance plan. Now let me just say this. That's interesting. I wish that I could use a United American for my dog insurance. For my dog. Well, you have 2 dogs, you know.
Yes.
No, they never did that, right? It's
no, they never did. And maybe that I should suggest that at our next meeting.
Yeah, I think you should suggest that. Listen, there's a lot. There are probably more dog patients than people anymore. It's like amazing. Mm-hmm. But so, yeah, that will be very good. So you have 2 dogs of your family and 2 of your own.
Mm-hmm.
You're a glutton.
Well, we actually have more than 2 dogs, but we have. My youngest daughter went to Oklahoma for a few days.
Yeah.
She left her dog, and my wife's daughter is here, and she brought her little Pomeranian, but she's staying in an apartment that won't allow dogs. So.
Oh, that's nice.
So we've got all 4 of them, and a couple of them are jealous of each other. So it's a matter of
that's
keep them
dangerous.
Keep them separated a little bit.
Oh, right. Well, I've got my little boy. I adopted a dog about 4 weeks ago, and it's a wonderful Shih Tzu, and he has a congestive heart failure right now. He has pneumonia, but we have him on medication, and he's sitting quietly. He's the sweetest thing. So, listen, we take care of look, you took care of your wonderful wife for a long time. I take care of dogs. I took care of my husband. That's who we are. We're caregivers, aren't we, John?
We are, for sure. I think that's why we bond so much.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's what you have to do. Well, I just want to tell you that I hope that your new year is joyful. You certainly earned it. You certainly work hard, and you've done right by your family and by all your clients. And you can't ask for more than that, can you?
No.
You're appreciative, and I know you are. You've been through a lot, but these are the golden years for all of us. We have to just appreciate everything we have and try to help people. And there's a lot of people out there who are hurting, but of course your business is insurance, and your business is United American, and I know that I have referred a lot of people there because I think so much of United American, and anyone who is considering insurance, if you've just turning 65. This is a person, or you're thinking of turning 65 in another year. Talk ahead of time. Know what your all the rules are. They keep changing, as John was saying. So find out what you have to do. Call them. They'll help you through it. And it may not be right for you, but you'll have a friend. And, what you can do is just refer more people, right? I bet you get a lot of referrals, John, don't you?
We do. And I do, especially. But.
Yeah, I would think that. And your ad now in the Boomer Times is really very beautiful. It's very strong, and it does say a lot, and I'm glad you're doing that. And so I just want to wish
I really liked that. When I saw that ad format come up, I said, I've got to change.
It was.
And I really like it.
It is. It's beautiful.
And Dan told me you really liked it.
Yeah, I loved it. We love it, and I'm so glad you did that. Well, I want to say goodbye for now, and I will see you at the Boomer Expo. Take care of yourself. You're such a sweet guy.
You too.
Yeah, thank you, John. I appreciate all your help always.